Hi friends, it's Julie Golding Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, along the tidal Scoodic or St. Croix River, the traditional territory and home of the Passamaquoddy. And I'm grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. Today I have a brand new free card class to share with you. And also it's launch day for both Sale-A-Bration and the brand new Spring Mini Catalog. So I have lots and lots of news, lots of deals, and lots of new items to show you. So let's get right to it. This is one of the cards we're going to do today, and let's get started. So I'm just going to flip my camera here, and we're going to get into the heart of today's presentation. So first of all, let me just get my lights arranged here so that they're better. Okay, I think that'll work pretty nicely. Okay, so today we're going to use all new things so you can see some of the new items. First, I wanted to show you about Sale-A-Bration and give you a little walkthrough of what that means. So Sale-A-Bration I like to call the most wonderful crafting time of the year, kind of like that Christmas song. And it's because you can get so much free stuff during Sale-A-Bration. It's on today through the end of February. And here's the little Sale-A-Bration brochure. If you need a brochure, let me know. And if you need a mini catalog for spring, let me know as well. So you can get all these different things with a $60, with every $60 or $120 spend. So you can see there's so much variety here. Many of the items are with a $60 spend, so that means if your order's $60 before tax, you get one item. If it's $120 before tax, you can choose two items, or you can choose one of the $120 items. If your item is at least $180 before tax, then you get three items, and so on. So you get to choose whatever suits you. There's also a brand new joining deal where you get this wonderful glass mat studio. So you get a glass mat, you get this silicone mat, and you get this wonderful cleaning cloth, and that is included in your joining deal. Now, if you want to find out more about all of these, I know it can be overwhelming. So I've written a blog post about all of this, and it's already up and ready to consult. Just go to www.juliescraftaddict.com and it should be right there. Or just click actually the link that is right in this post. If you click on Learn More, that will take you directly to today's post about all of this information, and it'll explain everything for you. So let me show you a few of the Sale-A-Bration items. So this time has the best selection I've ever seen for Sale-A-Bration. So here's one of the freebies you can earn. It's these beautiful embellishments. You can also earn these Jungle Pals dies and this Jungle Pals stamp set. You can also this time earn this beautiful pool party ribbon. So that's very nice. You can earn a variety of DSPs, that is patterned papers. So look at this one, it's got gold foil. This one is perfect for Valentine's Day or weddings, engagements, that sort of thing. It's got lots of gold on it, and you can see on the other side, it's all like pink and red with hearts. Like, look at that. Beautiful paper. Just lovely. I think people are going to really like that for Valentine's Day, and then, like I said, for weddings, engagements, that sort of thing. So I'll just move that one out of the way. So that's a specialty paper, so that's a real bargain when you get that free. There's this one as well. Just let me remind myself what it's called. Trusty Toolbox. So it's a great masculine paper, or for those who really like to make things who are of any gender. It doesn't have to be for a guy. So this one is also lovely. It is called Softly Stippled. Here's another one that has many, many beautiful patterns. So I've opened this one, and I'm just going through these quickly right now because you can see them all online, and you can see them in the brochure if you've got one. And like I mentioned, I'd be happy to send you one if you need one. Just let me know. So that's another really nice paper with many, many patterns. That's called Sunny Days. I'm going to be featuring a free class every couple of weeks in the next while. So throughout Sale-A-Bration, through the end of February, I'll be presenting a new free class every 2 weeks. And so that's why I'm going through these all very quickly right now. And this one I'm going to spend a little more time on right now because this is the paper we're going to be featuring in the free class that I'm presenting to you today. This is called Flight and Airy. So that's what one side of the paper looks like. And let's just flip it over. So the back is kind of monochromatic for the most part, but then you've got these two that have lovely floral patterns as well. So I'm going to show you some things you can do with that today. So let's get right to it and we'll start making the cards. And in the process, you'll get to preview one of the bundles that is actually in the new mini catalog. So here we go. So this is one of the cards. So let me just show you that card. All right, so this is called the fractured technique. And it's actually fairly simple to put together. And if you'd like the card packets for these cards, I'm going to be making 3 today. I will send them to you absolutely free with a minimum $60 order with me before tax and shipping. Okay, so if you just place an order with me, it doesn't have to be from the new catalog. It can be anything on the Stampin' Up! Website. And I'll be happy to send you these card packets for these 3 cards absolutely free. And why don't I show you all 3 cards now and give you a little preview of where we're going. And then you can kind of have a look at them. They're all pictured as well in my blog post. If you click through to learn more, you will see them there. And here are the 3 cards we're going to be doing. So they're all very different from each other. And I hope you'll enjoy the demonstration. And again, you can get them absolutely free with $60 minimum order with me. And that's good through the end of January 16th, because on January 17th, I'll be presenting a new free class, and it will be a different one. Okay, so let's get to making this particular card. So here's what the packets will look like. You'll receive all the pre-cut papers like this, and if the card requires a ribbon or an embellishment, I'll put that in for you as well. Now this card uses a specialty paper, so I'm just going to tell you what that is right now, and there's a full supply list on my blog post as well when you click Learn More. Now this particular paper is called, let me see, I wrote it down so I get it right, Soft Shimmer Specialty Paper, and it comes in, I believe, 5 different colors in the package. So it's a really beautiful glittery paper where the glitter doesn't rub off, so I love that. You don't get a glitter storm in your house, which is perfect. And we're going to be using tiny, tiny bits of it, so it will go a long way in this kind of card if you buy that particular paper or whatever paper you're using. So let's just empty out our little card packet here so we can get going on our card. All right, so the first thing I always like to do is stamp. So I'm going to just stamp on this one. Now this is made with the Stylish Shapes dies. These are actually one of the carryover products, so they are not brand new, but I use them all the time. I just find the nested circles, squares, or diamonds in this case, and labels to be extremely useful, so I use them all the time. So we are going to stamp on here, and I used Lost Lagoon as my ink. So we're going to just stamp that first. So I'm going to open up my stamp pad. Here we go. And we're going to use this brand new bundle as well. So I'll show you the stamp set now. We're not going to use the dies for this card, but I'll show you a little later. So this is called Perennial Postage. So I really like this. It's got a lot of different sentiments. Everything from here for you always, I know you'll get through this, sending love and best wishes, to Happy Mother's Day, big hugs, you are loved beyond measure, I can't thank you enough, all kinds of wonderful multi-purpose kinds of sentiments. So I find this a really useful one, and I think I'll be using it a lot. This is a cling stamp set. So we are going to use, let's see, You're Simply Marvelous. Okay, so You're Simply Marvelous looks like this. So that's, let's put it right side up. That's what this one looks like. All right, and if you're just joining me right now, I'm just demonstrating some free card packets you can get. I'm going to be doing 3 cards today. This is card number 1. And they are available as free card packets when you place a minimum $60 order with me by the end of January 16th. After that time, I'm going to be presenting a new free card class. So please let me know if you'd like to order with me and get this lovely bunch of card packets. This is using the brand new Flight and Airy bird and floral paper that is from Sale-A-Bration. Now the cool thing with Sale-A-Bration is when you get my free card packets, you will also get a free item from the Sale-A-Bration brochure. So you get 2 free things, a free card packet class, and you also get to choose your own free item, whether that's a stamp set or a DSP, a patterned paper, or a set of ribbon, or some embellishments, whatever you would like to have. So that's really good. And I have some other perks at other amounts that you can order. So check out juliescraftaddict.com or just simply click Learn More in this post, and it'll take you directly to my Sale-A-Bration page with all the information about the class today, the supply list, how Sale-A-Bration works, and how to maximize your Sale-A-Bration rewards, because it can be so overwhelming. There's so much going on right now. So I just put it all in that post, and you can kind of read it and absorb it that way. Okay, so here is our stamped piece. Oh, hi, Kathy and Linda. Great, I'm glad you joined today. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is start to actually put this together. And again, this is called the fractured technique. Okay, so let's do our first bit here. So this is from the Flight and Airy DSP. It's this beautiful floral on one side and the lovely birds and flowers on the other. So we are going to, first of all, adhere our stamped piece to the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to use this Stamp and Seal to do that, and we'll put that right in the middle, but toward the top. So let's see if we can kind of line this up. I'm using grid paper to just see if I can line this up a little bit easier. Maybe I'll put it in the middle here so we can see the measurements. All right, let's see if I can do this so that it makes sense. All right, I think that's pretty good for lining it up. Is that pretty decent? I think so. All right, you could actually measure it. I usually just eyeball it, but if you want to be really precise, you can certainly measure. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this first piece here, I'll move this over so you can see, and I'm going to adhere it here, just right against the edges there, and to the end of my little diamond. So here's how I'm going to know how much glue to put on there. We just need a little bit of this multi-purpose liquid glue. We're going to use the fine tip to do it. All right, so I got to just get it going there first because I haven't used it yet this morning. So I'm lining up this piece exactly where I want it to be so that I know how far down to put the glue. So I'm just going to end right there at the edge. And now I can simply pick it up, flip it over, and we're going to line it up right flush against the edge of that diamond. Okay, so we're going to press that down, and then we can cut that piece off later. So we can just leave that for now. So let's go ahead and we'll put on the next piece. So let's do this one next. All right, so we're going to flip it over. And again, we're just going to put the glue on so we can see exactly how much of this we need. You just need a tiny, tiny amount of glue. It really doesn't need much. You'd be surprised maybe how much, or how little rather, you need of this, because it really doesn't need very much and it sticks very well. All right, so we're going to press that down. Now this time, I'm actually going to cut that off. So I'm going to flip that over. and I'm going to cut that off. Okay, so here we go. And why I did that is I'm going to put this piece on next. So that's going to go along the bottom part there. And you can see it's just long enough and hangs over the edge a little bit. So let's arrange that again. And we'll get that on there. All right. So I started offering these free Facebook Live card classes a week ago. I got the idea from another friend who's a demonstrator, and I really enjoyed it. And it seems like customers really enjoyed it too. So I hope you're enjoying these free classes, and I hope you enjoy the fact that you can get the card packets to make what I'm doing today, all pre-cut and ready for you. All you have to do is add the ink and the stamps. I provide all the other stuff. So hopefully that is a help to everybody. I know the economy has been kind of in an interesting place for a while now, and we can all use a break here and there. So I hope that this helps. And then of course you get Sale-A-Bration freebies right now too with all your orders of $60 or more. So you get my free card class, and with every $60 spend, no limit at all, you can get as many as you like of the freebies from Sale-A-Bration. That means you get a lot of free stuff when you spend at least $60 before tax and shipping. All right, so we're going to cut that one off. Whoops, it's stuck to my scissors. I'm just going to remove that. And we're going to cut this one off next. Let's see if we can get that off. Okay, good. And this one more here. And that should do it. Yeah, so there's our friend of our card. And you could change the appearance of this if you wanted by putting this diamond exactly in the middle from top to bottom and side to side. I just did it from the middle side to side because I wanted to be able to see these birds in these other positions. But for a different kind of paper, you might want this exactly in the middle, and it makes your quadrants a lot more equal than you see here. So it just depends on what you're going for. All right. So let's see. Let's now take our card base, which is fresh freesia, and we will use the bone folder on that. And I do recommend these bone folders. I find they're great. This is a new one I bought from Stampin' Up, so I'd have enough for my in-person classes as well as online ones. But the one that I had before, I've had for about 30 years, and it still works just as great as the day that I got it. So it's well worth the investment. I think they're around $10. I can't remember exactly the price, but I could tell you if you wanted to know. So now we're going to use these little dimensionals, and we're going to put them on the four corners and in the middle. Okay, I like to do that because if you don't have one in the middle, it tends to kind of sag, and I don't really like that. I find that that's not convenient. So we will just take that away. All right, so we'll stick that on. And now I'm going to put on the embellishments. And these are an embellishment that have been out for a while. They're called flat adhesive backed pearls. And I find that they work really, really well on this particular card. So they go very nicely with all of the things you see here. So these are big enough that I'm not going to use my take your pick tool, but you can certainly feel free to do that if that helps when you're putting them on. Different things work better for different people, so you do you and do whatever works for you. So there is the end of our first card using the fractured technique, and I'm really glad I went to the Atlantic Stampers demonstrator event, which was held in Truro, Nova Scotia this fall, because that's where I learned how to do this card. They demonstrated it there with different papers, and it's great because you can adapt it to any paper you have. So there you go. Card number 1 is done. Okay, so let's go on to the next card. And just like in my online classes and in-person classes that I charge a fee for, I like to start with an easier card, work up to the harder ones in the middle, and then end with an easier card again, so that we have our maximum energy and warm up in the middle, and then it's easier at the beginning and end. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. This is the harder card, I think, to just line up everything properly. So this is a vellum fold card, and I really like this because you can see the beautiful paper through the vellum. So let's get to work on this one. Alrighty. So here's the little card packet, and I'll just show you how it is when you open the card. So this is what you have inside. You have room to stamp something if you want, or just write to and from, whatever you'd like to do. And then you can just close it like that, and it makes a really fancy looking card with a card stock base on the back. And we will start by stamping, like always. So let's get our little pieces out here. We'll need one for stamping. So I just have a little scrap. That's all you need for the stamping in this particular card. And we are going to use Misty Moonlight as our color. Now, there are a lot of colors in this Flight and Airy DSP that you can get for free during Sale-A-Bration. You can earn for free, rather, I should say, with the $60 spend. So you can decide if that's the color you want to use. I could have chosen a whole bunch of different ones, but I thought some people may not have all these inks, so I'm just using 2 different inks in the entire class. All right, so let's put that on there. And Misty Moonlight makes a nice, clear, and dark image. So I'm just going to show you that so you can see it a little closer. If I can pick it up here. Yeah, isn't that nice? Very, very clear and nice. So I'm just going to close up my ink pad so we don't have an ink disaster there. Move it off to the side. And now we're simply going to cut this out. So we are going to go ahead and cut out our sentiment. Okay? So you'll see, I'm not going to fuss too much about this. I'm not going to go like crazy with it. I'm just going to do it fairly quickly. Just leave a white edge around and not worry too much about the details, okay? There. So that's it. Easy as that. We've cut it out, and I do recommend these paper snips, they're called, from Stampin' Up. I really like them because they're very sharp and they cut things out really well. They're very good on ribbon too. I find some scissors are not all that great for cutting your ribbon evenly, and these ones are. So there's our little sentiment all ready to go. And we are going to stick it onto this little piece. And this little piece is made with the Perennial Postage bundle as well. So here are the dies that come with the Perennial Postage bundle. Look at all those great rectangles. They are so decorative and helpful. I think I'm going to be using these a lot. So I used one of those to cut out this little boho blue piece ahead of time, just so this wouldn't be too long of a demo. And I'm just looking for that in my card packet here. Here it is. So it's just this little tiny piece. And I am going to, let me see, I think I put a glue dot on the back of that. Yes, I did. So I'm going to take one of these mini glue dots and we're going to add that. Oops, here we go. Okay. Alrighty, so let's put that on there. It's over a little too far, maybe. Okay, there, that's pretty good. And I think I'll put the embellishment on while I'm at it. I just put one for a little bit of shine, and you can see it's kind of iridescent there. And the embellishment I'm using this time is something that's been out for a while. It is Iridescent Rhinestones Basic Jewels, and you can see you can get them in different sizes. You can also see that out of the 200 that I had in 3 different sizes, I only have 3 tiny ones and a few of the large ones left. So there's also a middle-sized one, and you get a lot of them in a pack, but I've been using them for a lot of things, so I don't have very many of those left. So here we go. I like them because they're a really cost-effective choice. You get 200 of them, that's a lot. And they work with so many different things. All right, so now we've got that done. So let's go ahead and put together some of the other pieces too. All right, so we've got all these little bits. So this is the Flight and Airy DSP again, and we're going to use the bird. So I'm going to use my Stamp and Seal, and we're going to stick that right on there like that. All right, and same thing, we're going to take this white piece and stick it onto the Fresh Freesia backdrop. And we're going to get that done right away too. All right, maybe in the comments, if you've had a look at some of the Sale-A-Bration items, maybe let me know what are some of your favorites. I know for me, I really like this pretty paper. I think it's so nice. And there are so many other great choices as well. Now we're going to put together the rest of this now. So what we will do first is we will make the folds on our vellum. So here's our vellum. Now I have a scoring tool that makes these lines. So I have pre-scored it for you. And here's how I suggest making the folds. So the folds, once you see where the fold is, yours won't be folded up like that if you get my free card packets with your $60 order. But you'll have the line there. So I suggest putting like a metal ruler or some kind of a thin ruler up against that line and then just folding the vellum over it. Because otherwise it can be a little tricky kind of getting the fold on the line, even though it's pre-scored. So I find that that helps quite a bit. I tried a few things before I came up with that sort of technique. And these should just about meet in the middle, as you can see there. Okay, so that's how I did the folding. And then I have a piece of this beautiful Flight and Airy paper. I just love these patterns. And I am going to adhere that inside that vellum bit so you can see them, the birds through the vellum. Okay, and here's a tip for vellum. Don't try to use liquid glue because it will make a disaster. It won't stick for a long, long time. It will, I think, eventually adhere, but it will move around and ooze out, and you just don't want to get into that. The best choice is a dry glue. So either something like Stamp and Seal, like you see here, or you could use mini glue dots if you prefer, if that works better. But I don't suggest using the liquid glue because it really doesn't work well for this purpose. Okay, so we're gonna just put that in there. So you saw what I did there. I lined this up against that score line again, and once I had it lined up, I just put down the rest of the panel. So that's exactly how you want to do that. Now to cover over this kind of glue mark on the back and to reinforce the card, we are going to put on a panel that is sized precisely for it, and we're using Fresh Freesia. So let's get that all ready to go. Okay, so again, we'll want to line it up as precisely as we can with the edge there, and you can just kind of check it before you stick it down firmly to make sure it looks pretty good. I think I was a little bit off there. So I'm going to pull that up. And you can always cut off the edge of the panel if it's a little bit off when you're done. That's also very acceptable. So I'm going to try this again. That's the good thing about glue on vellum. You can actually move it. So it doesn't hurt it too much if you're going to move it. But just be careful with your paper if you have to do what I just did so that you don't rip it. That's the only hazard really for that. It won't hurt the vellum probably because the vellum is pretty strong that way. Okay, so there's my card. Very nice. Now we are going to adhere, whoops, there's a piece of glitter. We're going to adhere this to the front. But of course, as you can see from this one, you can only adhere it on one side. All right, so how we're going to do that is we're going to position it more or less where we want it. Sort of like that. For me, you could put it in the direct middle, you can put it at the bottom, you can put it wherever you like. It's up to you. I like mine kind of toward the top there. And what I'm going to do is take my lovely little rainbow pencil that my daughter gave me, and I'm going to put a mark here. See, that's where the vellum meets. So I'm going to just show you that. See, this is where the vellum meets, and you want to make sure you don't put any adhesive past where the vellum meets, because you don't want to adhere it to both sides or you can't open the card. So you just want it on one side or the other, and I'm putting it on the right side. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my pencil. I'm just going to put a little mark on the other side and on the other side, just so I know how far the glue needs to go. Now you'll see that I've got these little marks, okay? And you can just take your ruler and you can make kind of a mark all the way up. Now mine aren't very straight, but I'm sure that that's less than half of my square, so I'm sure that it will be okay there. All right, so we are going to go ahead and make sure you check which side you're putting the adhesive on. So mine is going over here, so I'm going to flip it over. It's this side, so it's this side, okay? So I'm just going to use my Stamp and Seal down the edge of that line. And I'm going to put some more all the way around just to make sure it sticks really well. And now we're going to line it up and stick it on. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Is that looking pretty good? I think so. All right, and of course, as with all handmade things, it doesn't have to be absolutely precise and perfect. It's handmade and every new product will be different. Okay, so that worked. Okay, great. So we've got that on, and now we're going to put the interior on as well. So I'm just going to use my Stamp and Seal and put the seal on the back of that. Now here's how I'm going to do this. What I want to do, just like with this card here, is have it so that when the card is closed, you cannot see that square. I want it, the square in the middle of where this square is, basically on the interior of the card. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to put it upside down so the glue side is up. We're going to put it kind of in the middle of that square, more or less. And then we're going to close the card on it. Okay, so I'm just going to line that up. See, right in the middle of the square. And then we're going to close the card on it. And that places it underneath the square so you can't see it when the card is closed. So easy as that. You got that on there. And now we're just going to finish up the card by putting on our little tag. So we're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals for that. And I have some little bits left over on the edge of mine, so I'm just going to cut them and use those. Because they don't really need a whole big one anyway. This is a really small item. In fact, I don't know if I can fit two of them. Maybe I need to cut a little smaller bit over here. I think that'll work better, this little tiny piece. So we'll put that on, and we'll take off the backings from that. And then you can place this wherever you like. You could put it at the bottom if you wanted. You could put it at the top where I put mine before. You can just decide wherever you think it looks nice. I think this time I'm going to put it on the bottom because my positioning of my bird's slightly different. So I think I like it down there this time. So there is the vellum fold card. And that is the end of card number 2. Oh, Kathy, you like this card. I'm so glad. Yeah, it's a bit of a different design, and it actually will stand up pretty well too, because that vellum cardstock that you get from Stampin' Up! Is pretty thick, and it's pretty rigid. So it will actually stand up for you if you want it. Whoops, sorry, I just knocked it over myself, but it will stand up pretty well, as you can see there. Okay, so that's card number 2. So that's the second free card packet you will get if you place an order of $60 or more before tax with me by the end of January 16th. So that's card number 1, card number 2, And let's go to card number 3. And if you want to see all of these cards, I have pictures of them on my website. So just click on Learn More and you'll be able to see all of the cards there. And I've got the full supply list. There aren't any instructions because they're all here in the video. So, and I'd be happy to send you these cards as a gift when you place your order. I just love doing that. It's so much fun to send people something fun in the mail. So I like sending happy mail. I've been a pen pal for most of my life since I was about 10, so more than 40 years now, and I just love sending nice things in the mail. Oh, you've never seen a card like that before, Kathy? Yeah, I know. I hadn't either until I took a class probably a couple of years ago, and they presented that particular design, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. I like that. It's just something a bit different. Especially if you're sending it to a crafty friend who's kind of seen everything, it's a little bit different and they might enjoy that. Oh, and you liked it too, Linda. Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad. All right, so for this one, we are going to use Perennial Postage, one of the new stamp sets and bundles yet again. And this time we're going to use Sending Love and Best Wishes. So where is that one? This one, I think. Yeah, there it is. Okay, and this is also made with, I should show you because it's on white so you can't see it. So that's another one of the Perennial Postage dies that's used. Really cool. And let's stamp this in Misty Moonlight again. You could choose another blue from the card or another color from the bird if you'd like to. But I'm going with Misty Moonlight. I'm trying to keep these simple in terms of the stamping. So you don't need tons of inks in order to complete the project. So that's kind of the method to my madness on this. All right, let's put that on there. Just hold it down a few seconds. And there it is. Yeah, I like very much how this Misty Moonlight is turning out. It's very nice and dark. All right, so let's close up our ink pad here and put that to the side. Okay, so we've got that done. Why don't we do this piece? This is the bow piece, and I know some people love bows and others hate them. One solution, if you don't like bows, is just don't put it on. That's totally fine. Or put the ribbon, arrange the ribbon kind of underneath here if you want to. That's also okay. You don't have to do a bow. But let's get the bow over with, just in case it's a pain to some people, and then we'll move on to the rest. Okay, I'm trying to find the name here. So this is the Night of Navy and Gold glittered ribbon. It's 1/2 inch wide that came out in the Holiday Mini Catalogue. And while the Holiday Mini Catalogue retired yesterday, and most of the items in it did too, this, I'm so happy, did not retire, and you can still get it. And it's so beautiful. I love it. It had been out of stock for a while during the mini catalog time, and so I hardly got to use it. So I'm really glad to be able to use it now. So I'm just doing the bunny ear method. So I put one bunny ear here. I'm going to go down the ribbon, and I'm going to make another bunny ear. Cross one over the other, so it looks like that. And then I'm just going to put this one, the one that I crossed over, under and through the hole at the bottom. So that's it. So it takes a little practice, but I like this bunny ear method. It makes a very flat bow in the middle. So if you mail your projects, this is a great choice because you may not need to pay extra postage when you put it through the slot. But do check that at the post office because that's the best way to know. All right, so there is my little bow. And I like it because it cuts really well. It's a bit rigid, and so that helps a lot when you are cutting. Let's see if that looks more or less even. Yeah, not bad. So we'll go with that. Now it does kind of spread the little glitter bits a bit here. As you can see, they're getting all over my table, but I think this ribbon's worth it. It's so pretty. All right, so we've got that made. So maybe we'll just go ahead and use a glue dot and stick it right onto our label there. And then that will be done and we won't lose our bow. So let's do that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so there's my glue dot. Let's see if we can get that stuck on the edge there. So all I did was stuck it on to the edge, you can see there. And now we have a fancy tag for our card. All right, so now let's put the rest of this together. Okay, so we have all these pieces here to deal with. So let's do the easiest bit first, and that is to take our DSP, our pattern paper, and we'll put it right on the card. So this DSP is one that came out in the annual catalog last year, or not last year. Yes, it is last year now. It was 2023 in May. So it's still currently available. And you can get it. It wasn't on low inventory when I checked it earlier. And I like it because it goes well with all these birds. And I'll show you where I got that bird from, actually. So, just pulling out the right piece of paper here to show you. Okay, here we go. So here's the paper I got it from. This is the Flight and Airy paper yet again. So I'm using it in all 3 cards. And the deal here is that you can get so many birds out of it. Like, look at all of them. You can make so many cards if you just use one bird on every card. And so that's basically what I did here. I just cut out one of the birds. And they all have this deep blue that goes really well with the Misty Moonlight. And Misty Moonlight's one of the colors in the paper. So it goes really well with this Countryside Inn DSP. So I thought it would be great to do that. And what it does is it preserves my use of the Flight and Airy DSP, so I can use the birds instead of using the other sides like this one. The Flight and Airy DSP comes with this, and that would be a lovely backdrop for a card too, but I would rather keep all this to use on a card. I don't really want to use the blue side because I can make that up elsewhere. And so that's why I decided to use this DSP, because it has very, very small patterns, repeating patterns. And there are several different pages of it, and lots of them would suit this particular card. So that's why I went with that. So here's another side of it. So you could use that side if you prefer, but I kind of like this one with the trees and the flowers, so I'm going to go with that. So again, that one's called Countryside Inn. And if you click on Learn More, you can find the full supply list. And you can click on any of the pictures of the items I used. It's right at the bottom of my post there when you get there on my website. And they'll open up into my store. And so you can see all the different patterns for the DSP and so on. All right, so we got that done. Now, the next thing we want to do, let's do the fussy cutting for this little bird. So I'm just going to cut this out. And kind of the method to my madness for this card is to demonstrate what you can do to blend the products that have been out for a while with something brand new from Sale-A-Bration that you can get for free. And also to show that when you get these free items from Sale-A-Bration, you don't actually have to have always the coordinating stamp set or dies that go with the paper. So for this one, for Flight and Airy, I do not have the coordinating items. All I have is the paper. But I've found other Stampin' Up! Items that go really well with it. So there's the bird. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put it on this little circle. Now, this little circle is made from Vellum Basics specialty paper. And there's 3 different patterns. I think the other 2 are dots and stripes, if I remember correctly. And I really like it. I've used a bunch of it because it just gives that extra kind of interest when you're wanting some vellum on your card. And I've really got into using some vellum lately because I like the extra oomph it gives. So let's use our dimensionals on there. And if you place a $60 order or more with me and get this set of card packets free that go with the class, if you're not sure what other items you need, like dimensionals, if you don't have those, or you need a certain glue, or you're not sure if you need a bone folder or whatever that you see me using here, just shoot me off a message and I'll be happy to help you with that. Because I know when you're watching some of these videos, sometimes not everything is explained, and I'm happy to go over it with you. Okay, so now we want to adhere this, but we don't want to be able to see the glue through the vellum. So what we're going to do is flip this over, and we're going to place the dimensionals over the ones that we did on the front, and that way you won't have any adhesive around it there, and you won't see it through the vellum. So let's stick that on. Okay, there we go. And actually, I shouldn't throw them off to the side yet. We need them again. Okay, so I'm going to use dimensionals to stick this onto the card. And we just need 3. Now, I'm not going to stick it on yet. I'm just going to kind of place it. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on here as well. I'll just put 3 on this one, I think. Just kind of place them throughout. There we go, that should do. And put that on to just see where we want it to be. Okay, that looks about right. So now we'll take off the backings. And you just saw me kind of place all those before I stuck anything down. I usually do that on my cards because I want to know if I've got it in the right place. And then I don't have to try to pry it up and see if it'll unstick from my card or if it'll rip anything. I like to kind of play with it first just to make sure that it's what I want. All right, so let's stick that on. And there we go. So I've finished the card, and it looks a little different because I used a different bird. And again, you've got all kinds of different birds to choose from on this paper, and you can make a lot of this card if you want to. So let me recap and show you the cards all over again so you can see. All right, so we had, first of all, the Fractured Technique card here. Then we had a Vellum Fold card here. And then we had this more simple card where we just cut out the bird and used a different DSP that was available for a while now. So here's the 3 cards that you'll receive, or the packets for the 3 cards you'll receive when you place an order of $60 or more with me by January 16th. And after that time, I'll have a new free class that I'll be presenting. So this one won't be available anymore. Also, if you place an order of $60 or more, you'll be able to choose a free Sale-A-Bration item. If you need a Sale-A-Bration or brand new Spring Mini Catalog, let me know. I can send you one free with your order. And to recap which bundle I used for these, so I used this brand new bundle called Perennial Postage from the new Spring Mini Catalog, which looks super useful to me. And I also used these dies. So these are the Stylish Shapes dies, which have been out for a while. But if you're looking for the stamps and ink that you need for the project, here is Perennial Postage that I used for all my stamping. And my 2 ink colors I used were Lost Lagoon and Misty Moonlight. Okay, and if you have any questions about any of these projects, just let me know. I'd be happy to hear from you and to explain anything that I need to clarify for you. And remember that throughout Sale-A-Bration, I will be presenting a new class every couple of weeks like this, for which you can get the free card packets with your $60 minimum order with me. And there are other perks to ordering with me, other free things that you get with every order. So just click through to learn more, and you can find out about those as well, because I've got them all outlined in my post. So thank you so much for joining me today. Happy New Catalog Day, happy Sale-A-Bration Day, and happy Free Class Day. And have a wonderful, wonderful crafty week. All right, bye for now.